This is how I found my love for DIY beauty. So as a child, I used to be an introvert. So I used to spend so much time at home. So of course, I had to come up with things to keep me occupied. I watched a lot of TV. I read a lot of books. I went through a lot of magazines. These things became my hobbies. And in these magazines, I used to find these recipes. In the adverts or the things that I used to watch on TV, I would see beautiful women doing self-care rituals. This would entice me. And so because I didn't have access to the fancy products and things that I saw on TV, the recipes that I saw in these magazines came the alternative. My mom didn't use fancy skincare products because we couldn't afford it. So I would get into these recipes. I would be super excited. Like I can still remember like just mixing these things together, ingredients. It would be Evo with honey. I could spend hours just doing self-care as a child, like as a proper child. I would see somebody on TV sitting with cucumbers on. I would do the exact same thing. The magazines, obviously these were these fancy white people magazines that they could afford. So these magazines I used to get by one of my mom's friends, because she used to work at a white person's house and she used to gather like magazines and get magazines from her house. How I got access to the magazines. That is where the love for DIY beauty started. And obviously it followed me into my 20s. Because like I said, we weren't rich, we didn't have money, so that was always my alternative. But I also love it because it actually worked. Like bruh, look at it, it's still purring. Even at my 30s, I am still using it. And how I came to introduce it on TikTok was one day I just randomly used baking soda in my video. It wasn't about the baking soda, but somebody asked what is that, and I made a video about it, and that video went viral. And I just kind of went with that because I already were into DIY beauty. It was already one of my passions. I already loved it. I already loved self-care. And one of the things why I went with this also online was because there's so many women that can't afford the fancy skincare. They can't afford the lifestyle. And so for me, I always lived my best kind of life with in terms to self-care on a budget. It's all about utilizing the resources that you do have available to you. And if you have cucumbers in your house, if you have avocado in your house, if you have some honey in your house, mix it up, put it on your face, chill out, relax on your bed, then that is your luxury. And that is what I also try and teach women. Implement self-care. Like I'm all about self-care because I feel like self-care equals self-love equals self-worth equals self-empowerment. If you look good, you're gonna feel good. If you feel good, you're gonna do great. If you like, it's all intertwined into one another. But yeah, that is how I got into DIY beauty, and I'm so happy to be able to share